And then last question around the Dylan Thompson fights. So how much did him having you in that triangle contribute to that early stoppage in the second round?
Yeah, because of how long he had been in it, I think he gassed himself out a bit because it's hard to keep onto a triangle for that long. Because like I say, it was squeezing the shit out of me. But so I think he gassed himself out, and I think he was surprised that he didn't finish it. Like, of how stubborn I was on that, because that's one of them ones where I bet he finishes it in the gym all the time doing that exactly, but I'm not like everyone. And so yeah, I think he was like surprised and he was tired, and he was like sort of thinking, wow, how have I not finished that? And it kind of threw him off a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And that's and that was the point I was mentioning about taking someone's will. You just looked at him and he just had that surprise on his face, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm not ready for this second round."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he was surprised he didn't finish it, and I think he did gas himself out a bit because of how long he was trying to get the triangle. But, yeah, he's got good skills, Dylan, and he's a good lad, like I say. But yeah, well, that's how it happened on that night in my eyes.
Yeah, great gym to aspire. Yeah. So looking at the Lewis Lofthouse fight, you dusted him off within 45 seconds, rear naked choke. But before that, he came out swinging with intent. And then in that first exchange, he felt your power, didn't like what he was feeling, tried to take it to, tried to take it to the grounds. And then that was ultimately his downfall. How do you remember that fight playing out?
You know what, mate? For that second fight, I was more nervous than the first one because I felt like people were expecting something of me then. Whereas in the first one I never had a fight, and people like who hadn't trained with me, like everyone who came watching, like they didn't kind of have no expectations about me. And in that second fight, like ever since then, I don't really get that nervous. I have in a few fights, like, well, but you just get in your own head. So I come out and he kind of took me by surprise, to be honest, when he came just swinging for me, like sort of I weren't tuned in straight away. But then as soon as I switched it on, then that was good night to him.
Yeah, it was good night Vienna for sure.
Yeah.
So now we have to talk about that draw against Sam Gittins. I mean, for anyone that hasn't watched that fight, do yourself a favor, not right now, but after you've watched this interview, go and watch that fight against Sam Gittins. I mean, first of all, what an insane 3 rounds. That first round in particular was, crazy.
Yeah, the full pace of the fight for the 3 rounds was pretty mad when you watch it back at it. Like I've said it before,
unbelievable.
We're similar, me and him, the way we fight and that, and it was kind of like fighting a clone of myself in there. We're both two stubborn lads who've got a good cardio, and we would have just stayed in there till one of us dropped dead if we had to.
Yeah, I mean, there was scrambles and transitions galore.
Yeah, everywhere. I was trying to pull his arms off, trying to choke him out. He was trying to do the same to me. As a neutral, it was a belting fight to watch.
Incredible. First of all, did you feel the draw was the fair results?
Well, obviously, because that's the first fight I went the distance as well. And when you're in there, you feel it happens different, like to when you watch it back. You know what I mean? Because you're in the moment and stuff. And I don't know. I thought I might have just nicked it, but like I say, I don't know if that's just because I was being biased towards myself. But when I got the draw, I thought, fair enough. It was a good fight. Learned a lot from it, so it is what it is, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I gave Sam Gittins the first round. I gave you the second round, and then I think it was the third round that was up for debates.
Yeah, well, there's a moment in the third round where I'm on top of him in like side control.
Sam Kelly's the one that's ended up on top. Yes, in the open half guard at the moment. Oh, but Gittins has bumped him over. There you go. Powered him over.
And he flips me over, and when I watched it back, I'm like, if I would have stayed on that side control and controlled him and he didn't flip me over, then I would have nicked it. So I feel like that's the exact moment in the fight what made it a draw in the end.
Right. That's interesting. And have you spoken to him since?
Yeah, I've speak to him since as well. Like another good lad, you know what I mean? When you fight people, you get a lot of respect for him, you know what I mean? Like, because there's probably, probably 1% of the world that are going to do it, step in there. Probably not even that. So yeah, you get a respect. So, I mean, it's martial arts at the end of the day. It's about respect as well.
It really is. Only he can appreciate what you've been through, for the last 6 or 8 weeks, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we could see it at the end of the fight when we're both just buzzing, like, because we just had an absolute top scrap.
You really did. So how much did going the full distance in the previous fights help you in that fight against Sam Gittins?
Yeah, I forgot about that fight. Yeah, it probably helped me. I think I rushed into that one a bit too fast after the Dylan Thompson fight. I had a few little niggling injuries and stuff, so I felt like that wasn't one of my best performances, that one. I still nicked fight, but yeah, probably rushed into it a bit, and I had a few little niggles that I didn't get sorted out in time and stuff like that. But being me, I'm not going to pull out over something like that, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, but it definitely helped me, 100%, definitely.
Good. And when are you going to give us the rematch? we won the rematch.
I bet a lot of people want that rematch. I think even the commentator said it on the night.
He said it. He said it.
Yeah, I don't know how much sense it makes amateur with it not being for a belt or out. It was a good scrap, but you've got to learn your trade against different types of fighters, aren't you? So maybe once we're both in the pro ranks, we might get it on again, or maybe we will at amateur, who knows? But I'd accept it in an heartbeat if I got offered it. You know what I mean?
Sure. So looking at another possible rematch. So that fight against Chris Whitehead, which was your last outing. So. Yeah. What was your recollection of the fight up until that unfortunate up kick?
He just done what I thought he was going to do, really. He tried to take you down. He took me down. Fair play to him. He won for 2 rounds, but I never felt in any danger in the fight. Like, he weren't hitting me. He wasn't trying to submit me. He was just literally, could feel how nervous and tense he was, just grabbing onto me. I was just quite relaxed, really, because I could tell he was going to gas himself out, and it was 5 rounds. Probably should have had a bit more urgency about me trying to get back to the feet and that, but with it being a 5-rounder and the way I could feel him going and the way he was breathing and stuff, I felt like it was wiser to do that at the time, which was probably wrong looking back now. And that first up kick, that buzzed him, like, I could see it in the panic in his eyes. And then, so he managed to stay on top of me. He fell directly on top of me, like, rather than to the side or anything like that. And he managed to cling on still like he does, because that's his game. But then obviously I timed the second one bad. I thought he was up on his feet, but he dropped down to his knees, and so I gave him a way out for an easy win, and he took it. But I don't feel like I lost. It was a weird feeling on the night. I was more angry with myself than anything. If I'd have got knocked out or submitted or pinned me down for 5 rounds and controlled me, then fair enough. And to see him celebrating with a belt after it, I was just like, oh my gosh, yeah, you've not even proper won it.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to you. Your sportsmanship at the end was impeccable. But I've heard Jamie's account on that second up kick, and he reckons that they called for you to do the up kick again, and he heard it. Yeah, and he heard it, and he came back down. He dropped his knees. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like literally, it was probably just a couple of seconds. But the way he had me pinned, I couldn't tell, you know what I mean? Because he was like obviously pushing his hips into me. So I thought, right, the opening's here again. Let's rock and roll. And then as soon as I done it, I knew it was illegal because I was in his corner. I was like obviously pushed up against the fence in his corner, and I heard his corner going mad about it. I thought, oh, yeah, it was illegal. I was thinking I'm going to get a point knocked off here. And then when he stood up, his nose was splattered across his face.
Did you break his nose?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Unless it was bent beforehand and I didn't realise, but...
Fair enough. And is that rematch on the cards?
Well, hopefully. It was definitely being spoke about for the next FCC to get the rematch going, because obviously it ended on not a sour note, but it's not how anyone wants a fight to end, really, is it?
No.
He was on about... Well, yeah, he must have broke his nose. He was saying he'd have to let his nose heal. So after all this, and we get back to fight shows up and running, I think his nose will definitely be healed then. So let's get it on.
Yeah. And would that be the first fight that you'd want to return back to competition?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm training, I'm fit and that, so I wouldn't say I've had it's not a layoff, is it? And it's the same for everyone else at the minute. So yeah, that's what I'd want next. Just let's send it properly, because it didn't end on a proper note, did it?
No, I'm just wondering, in case he feels that he's not ready, are you prepared to wait for him, or are you prepared to take another fight?
No, I'll take another fight. If he don't want it, he don't want it, does it? I can't make him fight me again. But hopefully he does. He said on the night he'd give me the rematch, so hopefully he sticks to his word and we get it on and do it proper.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. So last question before we move on to your Flash 5. What are your MMA ambitions and goals now? I mean, do you have one eye on the professional scene?
Yeah, definitely. I want to get to some of the top promotions at some point, UFC, Bellator, something like that. I want to fight overseas and stuff like that, you know, see a bit of the world while doing something that I love. That is the ultimate goal, but it's obviously one step at a time, but that is definitely the ultimate goal that I'm working towards.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you've got another Mancunian bantamweight champion in Cage Warriors in Jack Cartwright.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. I was at the Cage Warriors Unplugged when he knocked the two lads out on the night.
Yeah.
Wow. He has got some scary power in.
Wow. What? Where do you think you are in comparison to someone like Jack?
Well, he's like a couple, probably two. Well, he's been training since he was a kid, because I've watched an interview on here. But in terms of like where he is in the pros, he's like a couple of years in front of me in it. So I don't think we'll be bumping into each other anytime soon.
Cool. Very honest as always. Right. Yeah. So we now move on to the final part of the show, Sam, which is your Flash Fives. So I ask you 5 questions and you simply give me your best answer.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. So number 1, who would you love to compete against, dead or alive?
Dead or alive. Frankie Edgar, because he's dropping down, and I've said it in my last interview before FCC, so I'll stick with that one.
The answer, Edgar.
Yeah.
Do you think you got the answer for him?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Fair enough.
But
Again,
I'd give it a go.
I'm sure you will, mate. I'm sure you will. Your ideal way to finish an opponent?
I've got a good arsenal of submissions, and I like the control of the submission. But yeah, I'd say a good like little slick submission. I like.
Nice. What specific combat sport bout would you have loved to have been a part of?
What do you mean, like compete in it or in the build up to it? Or
no, to actually compete in.
To actually compete in it.
Yeah.
I think. Trying to have a think. Cruz and Dillashaw, that was a good fight. We'll say that one.
That was good. Yeah, I think Cruz just won that split decision, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a mint fight. Good fight, that. So
yeah,
that was that one.
Yeah, that was proper. That was proper. What superpower would you have?
Superpower. Time travel, so I could start MMA sooner.
Good one. Yeah, you and me both. And then the final one, Sam. What one rule in MMA, either at the amateur level or professional level, would you change?
In the amateurs, I'd change the no knees to the head like it used to be, because I just don't see the point when you're allowed to kick them in the head. Obviously, I understand elbows because they slice you up and you don't want all that scar tissue early. But yeah, I think when you're allowed to head kick, you might as well be allowed to knee in the head as well.
And the professionals?
Professionals, probably the 12-6 elbow. I think it's a bit of a mad rule, really. You can rein them in from everywhere else, but you can't from that one.
Right. Okay. No, brilliant. Well, that's us, Sam. I really, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and thanks for having me, mate.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much for coming on. So everyone, that's episode 3 as a wrap. And again, thank you to everyone for watching Flash Knockdown, the show that engages with people of the combat sports world. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Nice chatting
Thank
to
you.
you.